I guess this is Afterthoughts from Tallahassee. I have 55 minutes till the next stop, Panama City Beach. I made a few stops already. It was like if straight from Tallahassee to Panama City Beach is 2 hours around, but I took the scenic route along the coast, which is like I was like feet from the coast at a large part of that trip, and it turned out to be like 3 hours with stops a little bit more than that. I know I started this morning with some thoughts about Tallahassee, and then things happened, and then I forgot what I was gonna say. It was definitely an interesting change from like the Florida that I know, because like South Florida and Central Florida are different for sure, but they're not like it's not like worlds apart. And I think Central Florida to North Florida, Tallahassee, and where I'm gonna go now, I feel like is a similar like there's a change, but there's also a lot of similarity, and it's not like a drastic shift. One of the things that I felt like throughout going through Tallahassee was that it reminded me a lot of Gainesville. Essentially, all college towns have that sort of like college town feel. And when I first got there, I was like, that first night was a little rough. Like it felt super creepy, and I think it was for a few factors. Like there's definitely a more gothic, rural, and just like alternative feel to like Tallahassee, or like parts of it. That's evident in like architecture, the types of stores they had, the way people dressed and stuff like that. I took some notes, so let's try and like look at this while I'm driving here. There's a few things, but driving from Orlando to Tallahassee that I saw, but like didn't plan to stop at, and I was driving too fast, and that's generally like that's happened to me this time too, from Tallahassee to Panama City Beach. There's a few couple things that looked interesting, but I was going too fast, and I wasn't committed to stopping, so I just passed them. There was one thing driving from Orlando to Tallahassee, to Tallahassee, which was this like square grocery store building, and it gave me really familiar vibes. Not that like I've seen it or been near it before, but for the fact that it felt like something that I knew. It was dilapidated a little bit, right? It was closed, it was shut down. There was like an open field behind it that was like dried up. It was just an interesting thing to notice. Oh, there's a lot of cemeteries in Tallahassee too, for whatever reason. The first night, a couple of the neighbors were watching this like documentary about Jack the Ripper, and I was like, it was super creepy, and I was already feeling weird because of how I felt like driving into Tallahassee. So I was like, I'm not going out there. I ended up talking to them the last night I was there though, and they were cool. One of the central themes that I've noticed so far talking to people is that a lot of people use technology. They've adapted technology mostly, and they kind of just, I wouldn't say they feel not in control of technology. They definitely do feel a little bit not in control of technology, but instead of like being proactive about how they use technology, it's just like however technology is developed, they sort of fit into it, as opposed to making technology fit into their lives, which is the whole point of this trip and everything. So I don't have a solution per se to help like change that, and it's not necessarily that I need to change this for other people in their lives, but that's definitely reinforcing some of the motivating factors of this trip, whereby there's actually one woman I talked to earlier today, which was talking in the Florida Historic Capitol building, or Capitol Hill building. She was one of the people working in the place, and she was a nurse for a long time, and then she retired and started doing this part-time, just like things to keep busy, right? And stay active in life. But she was saying how definitely technology invaded our lives, right? And I think that's super powerful in the sense that talks to the way, the mentality that people have when they're using technology. It's just like they feel forced into it, and they don't really have any opinion about like one, making it better, or two, just like how they feel it should be. And I feel like working in technology, that's been one of the things too. It's just like there's been a push for human-centered design and just human-centeredness in general. And what happens is when you talk to users, they feel like they're not technology experts. So there's a few people who are like really proactive in like giving feedback and saying like, this is how I want to live my life, make technology work in this sense. But I would say like the bigger majority of people are in the camp of like, I want to do this thing and make it, and then I'll tell you if it's good or not, and if it's not good, I'll just like deal with it mostly. So I don't know, something to keep expanding on. Oh, a lot of Tallahassee, other than me like not having a lot of places. So the first original point of me going to Tallahassee, apart from it being the capital of Florida, is that there's a segment in The Office where they took a trip to Tallahassee because of Sabre being their new owning company. Like, months before the trip, I found out that they filmed it somewhere in California, and obviously, like being in Tallahassee now, I know that the vibes that they showed in The Office was not at all how Tallahassee is. But it was cool, and I guess like this morning is the time when I went to see the Capitol building, because one of my motivating factors for visiting the capital of each state is to see how ingrained the government is in the state and how cohesive people feel with it. I didn't talk to too many people about this, obviously, because it was Saturday. Not a lot of things were going on. Even if it was during the week, people would be busy with work, so it's kind of hard to start that conversation. It's mostly just seeing the vibes of how the architecture, infrastructure, the layout of the city is kind of going on in order to draw conclusions based off of like that, as opposed to like forcing people to talk, which is not necessarily forcing them, but like, you know, it's hard for people to step away from their lives, especially if there's a lot going on, and everyone has a lot going on, right? So coming back to some of the other points about Tallahassee, I ended up just wandering a lot in Tallahassee, and like the main city area is not that big, so it was really easy to like move around, and like everything was minutes drive. I went to the mall, I went to the art district, and then the last thing that I did was really go to FSU, Florida State University. And I mean, it was cool to just like see how it is. Like I said, it's more so a college town, so a lot of things are centered around that. There's a weird part of Tallahassee which is like not so nice, but I think just in general, like it works for Tallahassee because, like I said, there's that gothic like alternative type of vibe to it. So yeah, I worked a lot during the day, and I feel like kind of trimming expectations or whatever. There's a word for that. I can't think of it right now, though. I think most of my time on this trip is going to be exploring on the weekends and in the evenings, because I want to save my days off during the day to like go to the roller coasters and other things that are like really big things. Tallahassee, like I said, wasn't that crazy of a stop. There wasn't anything that I was really trying to do. It was just vibes and stuff. I guess that's it for now. There's a lot I have to say or to want to say, and I feel like it's not all organized for me to like say it, so this is mostly just like whatever is in my head that I can remember. It's fun though. It's definitely, I'm glad I took the trip. Like it's going to be something that I need. See you guys.